Imagine being dropped on an isolated island for 30 straight days. You've got no phone, literally zero escape, and oh yeah, you're stuck there with 6 of your ex-boyfriends.
Honestly, just hearing that gives me instant anxiety. It is this absolute masterclass of a social experiment. Think about it. One girl, 6 guys from her past, and if one of those guys manages to win her back, someone is walking away with life-changing cash.
It's so brilliant. You hear that setup and you literally cannot look away. Because right off the bat, you know this is going to be a total disaster, but in the best way possible. But wait until you hear what's actually at stake here, because it is wild.
Yeah, let's be super clear. We aren't talking about a little participation prize. We're talking about $250,000.
Exactly. And that money changes absolutely everything. It basically takes all this unresolved romance and just injects it with pure greed.
Right, because every single conversation, every little smile, every favor they do for her, you have to sit there and ask yourself, are they doing this because they still love her or because they want $250,000?
That tension right there is what makes this a ticking time bomb. But the real question here isn't actually just about the money.
It all comes down to this ultimate psychological dilemma. What actually wins out in the end? Feelings, trust, or money?
Oh, for sure, because old wounds are totally going to reopen. Jealousy is going to flare up.
And this is exactly why this whole framework is so insanely addictive. By mixing love, a fragile ego, and just a massive pile of cash, you keep audience retention absolutely sky high.
It's deeply human. We all know how messy emotions are on a normal day. Now imagine trapping all that on a tropical island. But to understand the true genius of this explainer, you really have to hear these rules.
Okay, so Ashley lives on this island with the 6 guys, and every 5 days, she has to pick up a literal, heavy hammer, and she smashes a physical heart with one of their names on it.
It is so cinematic. Every 5 days, boom, someone goes home with absolutely nothing.
But here's the ultimate twist. If a guy makes it all the way to day 30, he wins the game, but then he gets to make the final decision.
Right? Does she actually trust the guy she's keeping around? Because on day 30, he holds all the power. He can split the cash with her, or he can just steal every single penny.
So right away, the social game kicks off. And it's fascinating because every single guy adopts a completely different strategy.
So you've got Mitchell, the romantic. He goes straight for the emotional angle, right? Making her food, building comfort, trying to be the sweet guy.
Then there's Derek, the quiet strategist. He completely steps back, just observes. He's trying to look like the stable, loyal rock.
And then, oh mine, there is Danny, the annoying joker. His grand strategy, complain constantly, be incredibly annoying, but use constant humor to keep her attention on him.
It is a brilliant psychological clash to watch. They are all manipulating her so differently, but the clock is rapidly ticking down to that very first elimination.
So, day 1, they arrive, and everyone's just in shock. By day 3, the guys are literally breaking their backs trying to impress her.
Yeah, fetching water, building a hammock from scratch. They know they have to treat her like absolute royalty.
But as day 5 approaches, you can feel the anxiety skyrocketing. Someone's journey is about to end before it even really begins.
And Ashley quickly realizes she can't just pick based on who's cute. It comes down to one specific fatal mistake.
It's all about trust. On day 5, Ashley picks up that hammer, and she eliminates Jake. And the reason she eliminates him is so fascinating. Earlier, another guy jokingly said he would steal the money, and Jake clapped.
He just clapped, literally clapped at the wrong time. Ashley saw that and immediately thought, nope, I cannot trust you.
Broken trust is the fastest way to lose. One tiny mistake, one wrong reaction, and you are sent packing. But wait, because the biggest threat on this island isn't actually a lack of trust.
Yeah, the biggest threat is actually having real feelings.
Yes, it's wild,
But to survive this island, you almost have to completely suppress your real emotions, because old feelings make every single decision infinitely harder.
Wait, so actually falling in love is like the worst thing you could do here?
Exactly. Ashley is terrified of getting played. If she falls for someone, her judgment gets clouded. And in a game for $250,000, vulnerability is a massive liability.
Which perfectly sets up one of the most shocking twists of the entire experiment as we race toward day 10.
So the days are flying by. Day 6, there's a fire-making challenge. Day 9, they hit Challenge Island. They have to frantically dig up keys and smash rocks just to win a 24-hour date with Ashley.
And Gary just dominates the physical challenge. He wins the date, they get massages, great food, the whole 9 yards.
But these physical challenges, they're really just a distraction from the underlying emotional warfare. The guys left back at camp are completely losing their minds with paranoia.
Then day 10 arrives, the second elimination. Everyone expects Gary is totally safe. But nobody expects the brutal choice Ashley is about to make.
She eliminates Mitchell. Mitchell, the clear fan favorite, the guy who was cooking for her and making all those romantic connections.
I was genuinely stunned. She literally says out loud, "I am not going to play with feelings in this game." She eliminated him precisely because her feelings for him were getting way too strong.
Wait, that is actually brutal. She knows he's the one most likely to break her heart again, so she just cuts him loose. That is pure survival strategy.
Absolutely. And with the romantic favorite gone, the entire dynamic of the island completely fractures.
It leaves us with this bizarre contrast. On one hand, Gary is literally out there trying to build a romantic pathway out of wood just to impress her. And then you have Danny. Danny is complaining about the food, whining, acting incredibly annoying at every turn.
Seriously, how in the world has Danny not been eliminated yet? He argues with her, he complains. On paper, he is doing literally everything wrong.
True, but he's keeping her attention. And as we head toward the next elimination, the pressure on Danny hits an absolute breaking point.
By day 11, the camp tension is just suffocating. Danny knows he's on the chopping block. He has actively angered Ashley all week. Then, day 15 arrives. It's a massive physical challenge, a literal heart puzzle out in the ocean, and the winner gets absolute immunity.
It is completely do or die for Danny. If he doesn't win this, he is going home. The anxiety is through the roof.
And against all odds, the most annoying player pulls off a total miracle.
Danny outswims everyone in the freezing ocean, grabs the puzzle pieces, sprints back, and just builds it.
He solves the heart puzzle first and gets absolute immunity. They literally put a metal cage over his heart on the chopping block so it can't be smashed,
which forces Ashley to eliminate Logan instead.
This perfectly proves the genius of this whole setup. The island rewards raw cunning over likability. But right after Logan leaves, the true psychological toll of the island really starts to set in.
Yeah, by day 17, Ashley completely shuts down. She goes into this deep depression, isolates in a room, and just refuses to talk to anyone.
And instantly the power dynamic flips. The guys suddenly realize, wait, if she quits, nobody gets the money. They need her to stay sane.
This is where the design really shines as a psychological experiment. When the physical challenges stop mattering, the psychological warfare takes over entirely.
It's no longer about winning her over. It is purely about keeping her in the game, which leads to this fascinating clash of strategies.
So Danny sees Ashley isolating, and his move is to force conversations. He goes in there, cracks jokes, and tries to basically force her to be happy.
And then there's Derek. Derek's move is genius. He stays completely silent. He literally just paces on the beach and does nothing.
And why? Because he knows Danny is a loose cannon. Derek's strategy is to simply let his rival self-destruct while he looks like the calm, stable option.
It is a masterclass in quiet manipulation, but just when you think things are settling down, the stakes get raised again.
Day 20. The fourth elimination is looming. But first, an endurance challenge. They have to stand on these tiny wooden platforms out in the ocean for hours while waves are crashing into them.
And the last person standing gets a secret advantage.
Once again, Danny wins. He outlasts everyone. But the prize isn't immunity this time. He is handed a secret that could destroy the entire game.
Host 2, Danny opens this little box and finds $50,000 in cash. He can choose to add it to the main prize pool, which would build immense trust with Ashley.
Or he can hide it. Just pocket the 50 grand out of absolute greed and not tell a single soul.
And he takes the money. He hides it. I was literally yelling at the screen. Honestly, what would you do? Risk the trust or secure your own bag?
It's insane. He sits at the elimination ceremony right after, looking Ashley dead in the eye, pretending he's changed, all while hiding 50 grand. Pure chaos.
Then comes the hammer. We all assume Derek is going home. He failed all the physical challenges, while Gary has been this powerhouse provider the whole time. But Ashley steps up, looks right at Gary, and swings the hammer. Gary is gone. And her reasoning is incredible. She says, "Derek, you failed all the challenges, but I trust you more."
Wow. That right there is the core of this entire explainer. Trust beats physical strength. Trust beats being a provider. Derek's quiet, loyal game actually worked, which leaves us with the ultimate final showdown.
We are down to just two guys. On one side, you have Danny, selfish, funny, highly manipulative, and secretly hiding 50 grand.
And on the other side, Derek, quiet, deeply loyal, banking entirely on trust.
It's two completely opposite psychologies. One loyal, one manipulative. Only one makes it to day 30. The tension is at an absolute boiling point.
But Danny, desperate to secure his spot, crosses a line that really darkens the entire mood.
Yeah, Danny realizes he might actually lose, so he sits Ashley down and he brings up his mother.
He tells Ashley his mom is suffering from early-stage Alzheimer's, and he desperately needs this money to help her. He is actively using his mother's tragic illness to emotionally manipulate his ex-girlfriend for money. This is where it stops being a fun game and gets intensely real.
You can visibly see the weight of it crush Ashley. He's completely weaponized real-world tragedy.
We finally hit the agonizing final hours. Day 22, the arguments return. Day 24, the emotional manipulation peaks.
And then, day 25, the final decision, the last hammer swing before the end of the game. Honestly, it's like watching a psychological thriller unfold.
The pressure is unbearable. Ashley has to choose who stands beside her at the end. It all boils down to one terrifying choice.
This is exactly why this concept is so addictive. It directly challenges you, the viewer. Who would you pick?
Seriously, think about it. Who would you trust when hundreds of thousands of dollars are on the line? The guy who makes you laugh but constantly manipulates you? Or the quiet guy who says he's loyal but you never truly know what he's thinking behind those eyes?
It is the ultimate test of human nature. But right before she swings the hammer, one final twist drops.
Pure chaos. They are standing there for the elimination and they are interrupted. They're given 1 hour for a frantic treasure hunt out on the beach.
And they find another $50,000. The final prize pool bumps up to a staggering $300,000.
300 grand? The temptation to steal the money just skyrocketed in the final moments of the game.
So let's look at this ultimate cliffhanger. The prize is at its absolute highest. Trust is completely shattered across the board. Ashley is standing there, holding that heavy hammer. 2 exes remain, Danny and Derek. One goes home with nothing. The other makes a choice that will define their character forever. The pressure in this final moment is literally unbearable.
We aren't going to spoil that final hammer swing. You really have to experience that tension for yourself. But looking at the genius of this whole experiment, it gives us 5 massive lessons about audience retention. 1. Keep the rules simple. 2. Make the emotions raw. 3. Remember that trust is harder to build than any physical challenge. 4. Personal drama will always hold attention way better than normal survival stuff. And 5. Always force a brutal moral choice.
Exactly. When you mix fragile ego, deep old wounds, and a mountain of cash, it's not just a survival game anymore. It becomes a mirror reflecting human nature.
So ask yourself, take the money or keep your respect? Let that sink in.